All right, guys, getting a little bit of a preview of what GOP governance in Washington here might look like if they are able to win the House. Let's go ahead and throw this up on the screen. Congressman Andy Biggs wants to investigate the absurd claims that are made in Dinesh D'Souza's 2000 Mules movie. Let me read to you from this letter from this moronic person. By the way, I did, complete breakdown on the claims in that movie for you to check out. The bottom line is it's like the initial data is ridiculous to start with. Then they make all sorts of insinuations and allegations based on this ridiculous data. Then they show videos of people putting ballots in a mailbox, which there are perfectly legal and legitimate reasons why they may be doing that. They never show, because allegation, oh, it's all these mules who are just ballot harvesting and ballot dropping, but they never actually show a single instance of the same person dropping off multiple times.
Yeah. The
whole thing is based on nothing. Let's just keep it at that. So here's a bit of the letter. He says, the Committee on Oversight and Reform should immediately hold hearings to investigate the potential illegal activities revealed in the documentary film 2000 Mules. The film exposes potentially widespread illegal activities related to the 2020 election by using geolocation information to identify thousands of individuals who delivered thousands of illegally harvested ballots to drop boxes in 5 states. He goes on to insinuate that you had 54,000 individuals delivering votes to at least 5 drop boxes each in these 4 states. This is all complete and total nonsense. But, the Republican Party has indulged this sort of rhetoric and not tamped it down. You now have a majority of the Republican base that believes the election was stolen, some significant portion of which are bought into these, insane claims made in this ridiculous movie that is just about lining the pockets of Dinesh D'Souza ultimately. And so are they going to be able to easily tamp down these types of, desire to go in this type of direction once they actually are in control of the House?
You know what the funniest thing is that I actually think there should be, I think it should be a hearing, Let's see how we already know it's bullshit. Let's see how bullshit.
Let's go.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea. Just be like, okay, guys, let's take it at face value. Let's call this cell phone data and then based upon edited videos of legal people dropping off ballots. Fine, let's actually investigate. I'm actually a fan of that. Every one of these stupid-ass audits, Arizona and forward, has only made the election system less safe. Also, the lasting impact of this, which I actually find troubling, is that ballot drop boxes are going to be illegal in some states, which is ridiculous. Like, why? Again, it's totally legal. You could call me a squitch if you want. I know people from Oregon and other states where they have full mail-in voting. It works actually pretty well, and people like it there because it increases turnout. Anyway, so there's a lot to be said for it. Also, there's no evidence that expanding voting to people who are traditional non-voters wouldn't actually outright help Republicans. So this is a deep idiocracy paranoia that is... Actually, I really do think should be engaged seriously almost. So I'm glad you did your monologue on 2000 Mules.
Yeah.
People need to know how bullshit these claims are.
Yes.
Because they are so ridiculous.
Well, there was a bit of an investigation in Georgia because a lot of the claims in 2000 Mules centers on Georgia.
Right.
And they have these videos of people. So in Georgia, quote unquote, ballot harvesting is illegal, except you can turn in ballots for family members and you can turn in ballots for people if you're like in a long-term care facility, people who are unable to get there and you're the caregiver, you're allowed to do that as well. So there are these very clear instances where it's legal to turn in multiple ballots. And there were a couple of these scenes of surveillance video that really went viral where people thought, oh, these people are acting weird or crazy or that's a lot of ballots they're dropping off or whatever. Georgia investigated some of these individuals and guess what? It was exactly what the legal provisions allow for. It was, they have a big family that they were turning in for. They were caregivers that they were turning in for. So it was completely legitimate. But just, the allegation was made completely wildly. The data that it's based on is so silly and ridiculous and absurd. I mean, Bill Barr even was making fun of this, thing
laughing at
as well, literally laughing and mocking it. So you're right. Maybe they should investigate
it. They should.
So, I mean, not that people who are hardcore believers.
It won't do anything.
There's no evidence that will convince them.
It won't do anything. But let's say 5%. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. You know, look, people are swayed very easily by all kinds of stuff. So fine, take it seriously. I mean, we took every single one of those stupid ass lawsuits seriously, which I didn't even want to, frankly, at the time.
It took a lot of time, a lot of effort.
Oh, in Michigan. But it's like, you know, we're like, okay, I respect people. You know, they think the thing was stolen. Like, let's go through it. But what I've learned after the 2 years is never enough. They believe it based on faith in Trump alone. Fine. There's nothing you can say in order to convince these people. So I've honestly kind of written it off at a certain point. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not saying I won't keep trying to like reach out and convince otherwise, but it's exhausting at a certain point.
Yeah.
It really is, just to see the conspiracy nonsense. At a certain point, I'm just like, look, I don't want to engage with this anymore because it's just not even useful.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna, you only believe one thing because you believe it. And okay, that's fine. You know, but don't pretend otherwise.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the Republican Party does sort of become the dog that catches the car and ends up in power, what they choose to do.
I would like it. Yeah, I would love to see them. I'd love to see them grapple with, like, wait, there's no facts. Now what do we do?
Right. All right. Yeah, good luck with that. All right, more for y'all later. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.